Hello, happy Wednesday, everybody. I am finally live. Hopefully, my lighting is okay. I am sitting on the floor, if any of you have noticed. Um, so I was having technical difficulties before I went on to do this video. My phone is about to die. So to be able to go on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, I need my laptop and my phone. So I decided I would just sit on the floor and have my phone charge. Also, if you may notice that I have a very red bloodshot eye. As far as I know, I do not have pink eye, and I'm pretty sure it's not. But sometimes with my contacts, I get things in my eye, and for some reason it just irritates it and makes it red. So I do have my glasses on because I know that is not good to have my contact in when my eye is all red. But anyways, I'm here. I made it. I am a little late, so I do apologize, but I do have a good topic for you guys all tonight that I hope will be very helpful, interesting for you, and that is about talking about food as fuel. So as I was preparing, I've been presenting a lot actually, and today I did a presentation earlier today, and I also have been prepping a presentation to talk to young athletes. And so when I was prepping that, this topic kind of came up, and I started, thinking about it and what was I gonna, tell these young athletes how to fuel their bodies and how to, eat. And when we're talking about fueling for athletes, it's you know it's important to remember, I think first is to understand those general recommendations for healthy eating. And I do a lot of teaching on this, and it is the My Plate. That is what we use. We use the plate method because that is a method that was given by the USDA, which is the government, to use this. So that's what replaced the food pyramid, if anyone is interested. So the My Plate is very important to remember. But for athletes, of course, there's going to be a little bit more changes, and there's going to be maybe certain macros, macronutrients, which I'm going to go into a little bit, that some of you may be familiar with, and they might need a little bit more. But really, I think for athletes, and really, like, it's important to think about food for them. Really, it is food for fuel, right? Because that is what's going to help them perform. That food is their fuel. Food is their gas, just like a car. So I just want to explain a little bit, go a little back a little bit. But so for your body, so no, we'll use this. So sorry. So for a car, could you drive your car without having any gas? No, right? So if any of you are on, you can answer any of my questions that I throw out there. So you can't, right? Your car won't work, right? Eventually, if you don't have enough gas in that car, it's going to stop working, right? So I want you guys to think about, whether you're an athlete or not, to think about, why it's so important that we put healthy foods in our body, and why it's so important that we even eat food, and why we need to eat food is because it's fuel. It is our energy. That is where we get our energy to go about our day, right? It can be not good if you don't eat. So for example, say you're sick, you're in the hospital for a while, you may not eat, or maybe there's some reason why you can't eat, right? You have difficulty swallowing or GI issues or anything like that, and you lose a lot of weight, which is not good, right? It is not good to not, even maintain a healthy body weight. So it's important that we eat enough, right, to have energy. And especially when we're talking about athletes, and this, as I said, it doesn't have to just pertain to athletes. It could, thinking about food as fuel, I think, is important for anybody to think about. But also, even if you're just like to be active, like if you like to hike, if let's see, you like to bike, you like to run, anything that you like to walk, anything that you like to do, right? You need fuel to do that. You need energy. But you also don't just need energy for exercise, but you also need energy for certain body processes to work. You need that energy. And where you get that energy is calories. So what a calorie actually is a unit of energy. So when you really think about that, really think about what is a calorie. So a calorie is energy. It's a unit of energy, a measurement, right? And you may have heard the terms macronutrients and micronutrients, which we need, right? Your macronutrients, right, which many people may be aware of this because you've heard of macro counting. And that is because where your the foods you get from those macros are what are calories. So those three main nutrients, right, that give your body calories are your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fats, right? So we need all of that, right? We need all those macronutrients. We need carbohydrates, and we need carbohydrates because they give our body energy. They give us, right? All of these fats, protein, and carbohydrates give you energy, but carbs really mostly, I would say, give your body, right, more energy. And then there's your protein, right? So your protein are your amino acids, or you can think of them as building blocks to repair your tissues. So, for anyone, or especially talking about for runners and athletes, it's important to get enough protein because that'll help repair muscles that have been broken down, right? And we all need some protein. And then fat is also important because it gives, again, not only your body energy, but it also helps your body absorb nutrients. So fat is also important. So all these macronutrients are important. And of course, scientifically, it's great about working with a dietitian too. And there's also tons of calculators out there. You can figure out the percentage of calories that you need, and calculate that into grams, and figure out, right, a specific amount of macros. But in general, you should have more carbohydrates than protein and less fat, right? So you just don't need a lot of fats, right? But I also think it's really important that I want to bring up about the types is really more important than really the amounts. So what I'm talking about is with carbohydrates. It's important when you really want to fuel your body with the right foods, thinking about fueling your body with with complex carbohydrates. So those are not refined carbohydrates. So those are most of your whole grains, right? Your quinoa, your brown rice, your whole grain bread, things like that, right, are going to be more of complex because they have more nutrients in them, right? So more fiber, things like that in those foods. And then there's your protein. There's different types of proteins also. So many of you know that I am plant-based, that I eat plant-based personally, and I also talk a lot about plant-based eating, and that is because there's lots of studies that are out there on our how our protein and our meats and things like that have a lot of fat and is not good for your heart. And it's not to say that if you're someone that does like meat that you have to completely eliminate it. Again, when I talk about plant-based, I really want to talk about adding more plant-based foods into your diet, however that looks, to really get those benefits of eating more plants, and then eating less fat in your diet can really be helpful too. But really, what's important too is I'm talking about the type of protein is really more than what it is. What I want to get to is lean proteins. So for me, as somebody that's plant-based, I eat all lean proteins because I eat beans, right? Chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, all those things. Tofu, right? Tempeh, all those sources of protein that I get are lean protein and don't have all that saturated fat. And I'm going to get into fats in a second. But lean is always best, right? So if you're somebody that eats meat, try, eating a little like less red meat during the week and try to choose a, lean meat more. Eat more turkey, chicken, things like that, and maybe try a vegetarian vegan meal once a week. If you're somebody that's new to plant-based eating, you could try something like that. Maybe just once a week, try a plant-based meal. So then there's also our fats, right? So our fats are also important. We need fat. But again, as I said, the type is what is most important. So there are fats that are not so healthy, right? And healthier. It's hard because I don't want to say good and bad fats, but really that is what we refer to them. So, your unhealthier fats are your saturated and trans fats, right? And then your healthier fats would be your good fats or your fats that are monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. So those are those unsaturated. So unsaturated fats. So if anyone's taking chemistry, you might understand more of what that means is saturation, unsaturated. But really, all I want to get across about those fats is those, good fats are fats that are going to actually could help help decrease cholesterol, and then your bad fats or those trans and saturated fats are those fats that are going to actually increase your cholesterol. So if you have any issues with your, concerns about your heart health and your cholesterol levels, then that is something that you want to think about. What kinds of types of fats are you eating? So the types of fats that you want to eat more of, which are also great for runners, right? That are going to give us energy also that we need is, avocados, olive oil, almonds, nuts. Let's see what else, other fats, right? Those, your olive oil and your avocado oil, those oils are going to have better fats or those healthier fats in them rather than those other fats. Like those saturated and trans fats, which, as I said, are found in your meat. So that is one thing about meats that you really do want to limit, and why I decided, to just go fully plant-based and not do any meat. And then what else did I want to talk about? So do I have any questions so far? If anyone's on, if you are on, I lost you. Okay, I'm still here. So if you are on, let me know. And it looks like a few of you have joined. I don't know if you're still on or not, but if you are on and you're watching this live, let me know. Say hi, that you're here, if you're just joining. But I'm just talking a little bit about how food is fuel and how it's important and why we should think about the best way to fuel our bodies. So I explained a little bit about carbohydrates, eating more complex, unrefined carbohydrates. I talked about proteins, what those are, and eating more lean proteins like beans and tofu, which I eat a lot of to get my protein, and then fats, which I talked about healthy fats. So the next thing, I talked about how, the amount is important, but not quite as important as the type. So the types of carbs, the type of protein, and the type of fats that you are eating are really more important. is going to help you to fuel your body the best way. So the other thing I want to talk about is calorie calculators. So there are calorie calculators that you can do as a dietitian. We are taught how to calculate calories, but really those those calculations are all estimates, and your metabolism can really change. All of us, I'm sure, can relate to this, but has anybody, gained weight or lost weight, then gained it back, then lost weight, right? And we're kind of all in this yo-yoing. So is anybody that's on, have any of you felt like that or had those kind of weight changes? So some of you may, right? Some of you may have experienced that before. So your metabolism changes, and your body changes. You lose muscle, you gain muscle. I know personally for me, I was doing a lot more strength training at one point, and I gained muscle and I gained a lot of muscle, and my weight, didn't seem like it changed that much, but I certainly could tell in my body structure and the way my body was and my metabolism, that I had gained muscle, especially on how much I was eating. So I remember when I was gaining that muscle, I was eating a lot of food, and I couldn't believe I was eating so much food, and it was almost hard for me to eat that much food. But I gained muscle, and I was even losing weight. And when I say weight, I'm talking about fat, because that's what I really did. Was I was gaining, I was losing fat. So even though my weight really didn't change that much, I could tell my composition of my body had really changed, and I was actually eating more food. So with those calorie calculations, they, may help kind of estimate about how many calories you should eat, but really, it can be really hard, because, as I said, they're just estimates, and those calories may not be exactly what you need. And really, it's like trial and error with anything in your body, because everyone is individualistic and everyone's body is different. And that's what makes, so nutrition so complicated sometimes, I think, in maintaining our weights and things like that, because it's not an easy thing to do when, yes, there's science behind all of this, and it is a science, but we are also all individualistic, and our bodies are all very, very different. But, there is enough evidence when, you watch your portion sizes, you get exercise, you get physical activity, right? And you eat certain foods, right? There's all these evidence and all these studies, on the importance of these things. But I just want to put that out there, because calorie calculations can be tricky, and what the best way to go about it, if you're like unsure of how many calories you need, if you're not eating enough, if you're right, under eating or eating too much, and you're really like can't figure out that kind of thing, or you just can't figure out, like, you're just really not sure how to estimate calories, because counting calories isn't any fun either, right? So it's good to really understand, really, about an estimate of how many calories your body needs, and then be able to kind of estimate the foods that you eat, how many calories are in there, and that can be helpful too. But yes, so calorie calculations, they can be, not always the best tool. They are just estimates. I would say, the best thing is if you are really trying to figure out things, and you're just so confused, and there's so much information out there, and you're just feeling stuck, reach out to a registered dietitian. I know so many awesome, amazing registered dietitians and nutrition coaches out there now, not just me, but of course, um, I would love to work with you too. But there are a lot of other coaches out there now too, and dietitians that know this stuff, that have been working with clients and are just absolutely amazing. And I just have to say, I just have to throw that out there. The best thing for you, if you really are struggling, is to try to find a registered dietitian. They can certainly help you. So what else? If anyone's on, let me know you're on and say hi. What's up, Kayla? And if you have any questions, you can let me know. So just a quick recap. If anybody is joining me, but today I'm talking about food as fuel. So this is a topic that I feel like is so important because it is something that I learned actually at a young age as I started, running and into my, as you could say, running career, because I still am running. But when I was getting into sports as a young age and in school and high school, that I realized that food was really fuel, and it wasn't, something, when you're growing up, sometimes it just seems like food is just all around and it's just part of your culture, and you just eat all this food that isn't always the best for your body, right? Especially around holidays, things like that. And you can discover so many foods that your body may not like, may not react so well to. But really, I think this concept is really important to understand for anyone, but especially, of course, athletes. Really recognizing that food is your fuel, and you need to have fuel to do any sport, right? To do any activity, physical activity, you need to make sure you have that fuel in your body, and you need to have the right fuel, right? So back to my car example, if you have a regular car, would you put that more expensive gasoline, right, into your car? No. And that probably would not be good. I'm pretty sure that it would have reverse reactions and not be good for your car at all if you put the wrong gasoline in it. So think about that. Your body is just like that. It's just like a car. It needs the right foods to put in it to go, to think, to absorb nutrients in your body, all those things. And it is scary when things don't work right with your body, and don't go well. And sometimes it may be hard to get in that perspective of understanding that, how grateful we all should be if our bodies are working the right way, and absorbing our foods, because when it does not, it is not a good experience, right? When you have, constipation, when you have swallowing issues, when you're having GI upset and GI issues, it is, right, very hard to really do the things that you like to do throughout your day, right? So it can be very difficult, right, to get through your day, to do your normal activities when your body does not work well. So we need to make sure that we are fueling our body with the right foods, and also, right, make sure that we are, as I said, fueling our bodies the right way, as much as we possibly can. So I hope that was helpful. I think that was all the tips that I wanted to, or all the points I wanted to make tonight in this video. But if anybody has any questions, please let me know. You can comment under this video, or you can just message me too if you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, or any nutrition questions that I possibly could answer around eating or fueling for runners, athletes, or plant-based eating. Excuse me, I also just want to mention real quick that if any of you have not seen or signed up yet, you can sign up for to receive or sign up to receive my ebook. So I created an ebook of 11 plant-based recipes. These are specifically for female runners, but if you are looking into eating more plant-based, or you are plant-based and just need some more meal ideas, those are some great recipes in that ebook. Like I said, it's free. It's a free download. So all I ask is you just exchange your email with me, and you can get that video on Instagram. You can go right to the link in my bio and sign up for that, or you can just go directly to my website, and that'll take you right to the page. You'll see where it asks for your name and your email, and you just sign up and you will get that ebook. So, and all those amazing recipes that I hope you guys will take advantage of and try. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know what your thoughts were, if this was helpful or not, or if there's a topic that you would like me to talk about next week. I love to do that, so let me know. And I think that's it. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your week, and I will talk to you guys all soon.